GeogAtoZ supporting the National Festival of Fieldwork from the Geographical Association. Day 4, all about data. Some quotes here from the Getting Our Bearings Ofsted report, where it cites that pupils are rarely taught how we, geographers, collect and present and analyse data, and then get them to reach conclusions and evaluate what they've done. We should get them to collect and present and analyze because we want them to reach and evaluate conclusions based on this data. And some of this must include first-hand experience of collecting the data because we want them to think like a geographer and become immersed in relevant thinking so that geographical knowledge is of importance and it sticks in their memory. Fieldwork provides opportunities to draw together different forms of geographical knowledge to be able to explain what they've observed. Pupils must draw on their knowledge of the human processes, the physical processes, as well as that really important knowledge about that specific location that they're in. So let's think about some practical resources. On the left-hand side there, you can see some usual methods that you might know about, things that you might have seen in schools: traffic tallies, environmental surveys, sound photo surveys, litter picks, litter counts, land use maps, sketching, interviews, temperature reading, and wind direction. All those are really important, but I just want to broaden some of those out. So think about, if you're getting the children to do a survey, try and get them somewhere high. There's an example there from New York City, but can you get them looking out of a window? Can you get them standing on a bridge? Can you get them from the top deck of a bus? Can you get them looking somewhere to, yes, analyze the traffic, but what about the pedestrian story? What's happening with bicycles? Are there segregated lanes? Is this a low traffic neighborhood? How is that being supported? What are those crossings? Who are those crossings for? How do they operate? Are they automatic? Do the cars stop? Do they not stop? Are there different cultural stories there? Some children may not realize that the zebra crossing is not the same in other countries. Is the public transport? How is that supported? How do the trees alleviate the pollution? If they do, what's the purpose of the trees? Who planted the trees? Who maintains the trees? How does that street design support different users of the street? So yes, traffic tallies, but let's broaden that out a little bit as well. Environmental indices are a great thing. This is a resource from Primary Geography Journal from a number of years ago, from an article that I wrote. And this was about grading the quality of how good is what you can see in your locality. So can they score out of 5? Top 5, bottom 1, street furniture, wildlife and nature, litter and graffiti, and roads and pavements. And also get them to write a qualitative comment about that as well. That can be quite revealing as well. So you get some debate and discussion in there. Do a sound survey, get them thinking about where the loudest and quietest places are, and maybe find a decibel meter so you can actually get them to think about where the noisiest and the quietest place quantifiably is near you. Get them to do photo surveys, of course, but let's try and think about what's the oldest building near you, the newest building, the highest building, the lowest building, the crumbliest building, and so on. Come up with some of those descriptive vocabulary words, try and describe localities near you to bring them to life. Yes, we should look for litter, but also maybe go hunting for hidden nature. Where are those cracks in pavements, cracks in buildings? Where is nature fighting back? Where is nature reminding us that underneath the tarmac and concrete, really we're just simply covering up what's living underneath, all that inconvenient mud and muck that we like to remove ourselves from in our mainly urban lives. Land use maps are important, but let's think about what that high street's like and maybe prepare children to go out there by having lots of photographs of the signs that they'll see, a sign collage. Can they work out what's behind the sign? Yes, they might know what a local supermarket sells because they've been in there, but what about those other shops they never go into? What do those shops sell? How many different types of products do they sell? Where can they find connections to the world when they look at those different stores just on one local high street? Sketching is great, but maybe we should take them out and get them to fill in the gaps. This is an example from Lincoln. What shops are in the middle? How are those buildings designed? If they look and see the tops of buildings, do they represent what's actually going on below. As a colleague Kate talks about, tops of shops are really important things to bear in mind here. So sketching are really important, filling in the gap exercise there rather than just sketching from scratch. Interviews, really important. Be bold, be brave, go out there and take your device and interview people, but also get the children to think about what different people who work around those streets actually might say. What are the litter pickers, the road workers? What are the people who care for the street, care for the roads actually say? What data can we collect there about that? Again, qualitative data about that streetscape that we are actually in. Temperature important, but let's think about narrating the temperature as we go out there. How warm or cold is it today? Feels differently inside. Are we going to need our coats? What's the wind like? What direction is the wind coming from? Let's look at that online first. Let's go to an app like the BBC weather app, and then let's go outside and do that ourselves. Let's see if we can test that in the real world. Let's see if we can see if the real world matches what the online data actually says. And we should use data loggers as well wherever we can. If you've got those lounging around in the science cupboards, and maybe test light as well. Where are the light places? Where would you plant that box of flowers so it would really grow and thrive? And of course, wind direction is a really important one because it will differ greatly if you're in these kind of wind tunnels of an urban environment as opposed to being at the coast. So there's a lot of conversations there linking the weather and the wind speed. So hope that was useful. Day 4, data.